All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on out to another episode of the Ranger Experience. My name is Christian Ingram. I am your host of the show. You might know me as the Power Rangers guy, but today I have a very special guest on with me. You might know her from Instagram. Her amazing cosplays on there. Miss Ami Brundle, better known as Cosplay Empress. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm really excited to be talking to you, one of the really great Power Ranger cosplayers in the community.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, how did your cosplay journey get started? Like, what got you into it?
It's a bit of a weird one. So, like for me, I've always loved Power Rangers. For the longest time, I've been a Power Rangers fan. So much so that I actually wanted to be on the show. I've never actually auditioned or sort of tried to go for the show, but I've always wanted to be a Power Ranger. And so when I started getting into cosplay, my first idea was always make your own Power Ranger, so as then I can still feel, as if I'm a part of the show, even though I'm not.
That's fair. That's fair. That's really cool though, because like you've created a lot of unique Rangers. I mean, like you do a lot of purple Rangers, purple
Yes.
SPD, purple Wild Force, purple MMPR, purple Time Force. Like, is purple your favorite color?
Yeah, purple is absolutely my favorite color, and then it sort of ties back into the show again. For the longest time, there was never really any Purple Rangers at all, and so when I started branching into cosplay, I wanted to stand out a little bit more, if you will, and make my own Rangers have their own stamp.
That that's a great way of looking at it. Did you like were you super excited when Jungle Fury came out and you saw that there was an actual Purple Ranger?
Yeah, when Jungle Fury is one of my favorite seasons, and when it first came out, I was blown away that we finally got a Purple Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, and to be one of the coolest Rangers of all time, RJ,
Yeah.
like he's one of the few actors that I have not met that I would really love to meet.
See, I've never met a Ranger actor ever.
Oh man, do you plan on like going to like PMC or Ranger Stop or something to that
Yeah, well,
magnitude?
PMC is absolutely like it's on my radar. Like I really, really want to go, but being from England, it's an expensive con to go to. It's the flights, the hotels.
Oh yeah, no, like PMC is not cheap. Like I'm from the East Coast where it's cheaper to live, and I went over to the West Coast for PMC 2018, and
Mm.
it was like $5 for two slices of pizza, and like over here it's like $2-3, and I'm like, I'm like my wallet's gonna be hurting after this. I think I spent like $1,500 at PMC just on autographs and pictures.
Yeah.
But what's one Ranger you really want to meet? Like what Ranger actor? Like if you had to pick one to meet, who would be your top
Oh.
one?
If I had to pick just one, it would probably be. Oh gosh, you really put me on the spot. I absolutely love Time Force Red. So Jason, such a wonderful guy. I've been chatting to him every so often on Instagram, and actually he's liked a few of my Time Force Purple photos. So
Oh yeah, Jason's an amazing guy. He was gonna be at is he still gonna be? I work with a convention called Fayetteville Comic Con, and he's gonna
mm,
be there in what is it, October, November? I don't. My dates run together. He's gonna be there in the fall. That's all I
yeah,
know. But it's gonna be cool because I think me and my friend are gonna get to moderate a panel with him. But like I got to meet him at PMC 2018, and like he's so humble,
yeah.
and that's rare with like actors. Like usually they're like egos are huge, but it's crazy to see like how humble he is. But did you enjoy him coming back for like Dimensions in Danger? What was it, two
Oh,
years
I
ago?
loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Well, what has been like your favorite season so far? Like, is it Time Force, SPD? Because you do a lot of cosplays from those seasons.
Yeah, so it's difficult. So my background is I'm a zookeeper.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with animals pretty much all my life. So Wild Force was always like my go-to favorite season. And then only sort of start of this year, end of last year, I've started watching SPD and Deca Ranger again. And then my SPD obsession kind of spiraled out of control. And so now I'd probably say SPD is my favorite, but Wild Force is a close second.
Yeah, Wild Force is incredible. I mean, like, how old are you? Like, you're like 25, 26 ish.
Yeah, I was 25 in January.
25. Okay, so you're basically as old as Power Rangers at this
Yeah.
point. So I mean, yeah. So you've basically been there through the whole thing, like and whatnot. But you said you wanted to create your own Rangers and whatnot. Do you like make your own costumes?
So in terms of the actual suits themselves, no. I work with either ACG Cosplay, the website, or there's a guy on Instagram called Cyan Man Designs.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I get in touch with him with my crazy ideas. He then helps design the suit and then I get it printed. But in terms of the either the morphers or the props or like the helmets, I work with a guy that works with our cosplay team, and then or I buy ready-made props and then paint them myself to sort of fit my aesthetic more.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It takes a very creative person to like come up with costumes and like get your vision to come to life. Is that like something that's difficult for you? Is it, or is it like you like think of something that's like super easy? You're like, all right, I need this, this, and this, and it just all comes together.
It comes together, but not all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So my first cosplay was my MMPR purple, and that started like 4 years ago. And I'd say sort of September last year, I actually finished that cosplay to where I was happy and it was done. So it's quite an easy process, but it's a process that takes a long period of time. It's a lot of drawn out like possibilities.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like stuff like that, like it's not easy to finish, especially for like cosplayers. Like some people can finish like stuff in like a day, but like I think most cosplayers, like it takes years for them to be like, all right, I'm truly happy with what this and how it turned out, because it's a lot of modifying and whatnot. But obviously with the cosplaying, you go to a lot of conventions. Tell us how you got started in like the convention scene.
So I was born sort of in the south of England, and that's where most of the cons that I've gone to are. I tried to sort of go to the smaller cons first, just sort of build myself into it, because it's quite a daunting experience to suddenly go into like this massive room full of hundreds of people, even though you're all sort of there for the same, nerdy reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go to a lot of the smaller cons first, just because they were more accessible for me as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what has been your favorite thing about going to conventions since you started?
I think the sort of the general like group nerdiness, if that makes sense, where that no matter who you talk to, people are all there for the same reason. It's always going to be like extremely nerdy or extremely like your own little scene where you don't have to worry about what anyone else is thinking.
It's a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Cons are like the only place you can truly be yourself as a nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I'm sure you've made a lot of friends through the con scene.
Yeah, I've got loads of people there's people that I've like talked to through like because of cons, or even now just because of Instagram, that I've never actually met, but we are incredibly close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, same. Like I've met so many people through like just going out there and just flying to different conventions. I talk to them like people I've met at conventions more than I do friends that I met like in high school and middle school.
Yeah,
and it's crazy how people come together for that. But yeah, you said you wanted to be a Power Ranger, and that's why you created your own costumes. So would you ever audition for Power Rangers?
I've seriously considered it, and I know that with the whole COVID thing that's going on at the moment, that they are opening up auditions again for the new season that's coming out. And I am seriously considering it, but I just don't know if I don't know, like the sort of the skill set to be a Power Ranger these days.
Yeah, I mean, it was harder back in the day. Now it's just you gotta look like you just gotta look the part. Like you gotta be what the director's looking for at that to that end. I mean, you don't have to know martial arts like you did back in the day. So I mean,
it'd be a difficult one as well, because I'm kind of like Matty from SPD. I'm very heavily tattooed, so I'd have to be pretty covered up.
Oh yeah. They do not like tattoos on Power Rangers. Yeah, when JDF came back, I think they airbrushed all of it off. So
yeah, well, I've got 29 now, so they're quite difficult to hide.
Oh God, that's a lot of tattoos. What's your favorite tattoo you have?
I'm a huge Disney nerd as well as a general Power Rangers nerd. So I've got a Disney leg of tattoos, but I've got a little Stitch experiment. That's one of my favorites, and he's on the side of my shin.
Oh, that's super cool. Lilo and Stitch was an amazing show and amazing movies back in the day. That was like, I remember watching the first episode when it aired, and I was like, all right, this is cool. But yeah, the tattoos and Power Rangers, I mean, you can get around it. So I mean, it'd be cool to see like someone you know on a season of Power Rangers or someone you've
Yeah.
interacted with, like especially the fans, because they're the only fans I can think of that have became Power Rangers, like that were true fans, were Peter and Yoshi. So
Mm.
to see more of that would be incredible. But with Dino Fury, that's the new name of it, right? Dino Fury. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a video on it. I should know this stuff, but I don't. But there's only one female ranger, which is the pink one, correct?
Yes, that's yeah.
So, would you want to be in that season, or if like, would you want to wait and audition for another season, like any of the Sentai you're looking at? Like, I want to be in that adaptation of Power Rangers.
I think I've never actually cosplayed a Pink Ranger, so I wouldn't know even sort of how that feels. I wouldn't mind being in Dino Fury, but I'd love to see Tokuja. I'd love to see Tokuja be adapted. And if it was, I would absolutely 100% try and audition for that one, because it would just be an like insanely fun season to be a part of.
Oh yeah, Tokuja was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people are hoping it gets adapted over here, but with Hasbro, you never know. With Saban, they just straight up skipped it. They're like, nah. But like I was saying, with like the seasons that haven't been adapted yet, what do you think's going to get adapted after Dino Fury?
They've got quite a list that they could choose. I would love to see Tokuja, but I'm not entirely sure if they'll go that route. Although in terms of for Hasbro making things like the Zords out, if they were to go with Tokuja, it'd be quite an easy one for them to do. They're not very like technical Zords in terms of like getting their sort of teeth stuck into that. And being that there's so many different like Resha that you could have, it'd be easy for Hasbro to make a lot of money from just selling out different versions.
I agree. I think Hasbro was looking at it more of a money perspective, and that's to be fair. But what they are doing for the fans is with the current Beast Morpher season, they're bringing back Jason for the Dino War. What's your opinion on that? Because obviously there's been trailers out.
Yeah, well, I mean, to bring him back is obviously a massive, like, easy move for them, because it's just he's a legacy actor, he's a legacy character. He was obviously there as sort of in the beginning, and it's a very, very easy sort of bring back Jason to bring sort of the whole circle together, which would be quite nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think that him coming back will bring more fans in. But another thing that they're doing is they're going to come out with their own version of the Power Morpher. And I did want to ask a cosplayer about this, because a lot of cosplayers were saying that the Bandai version was just too heavy to cosplay, but this one looks a lot smaller. What's your opinion on that for cosplaying?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the legacy one, which I have up on my shelf. And it's really heavy. There's a lot of weight behind it. And especially if you put it in the buckle that was made by Bandai, it's really thick as well. So it sticks out way too far to look sort of as nice and streamlined as the actual suits did. So hopefully with Hasbro bringing this one out, it will be lighter and actually sort of fit a little bit closer to you, so that it doesn't look as sort of bulky.
Yeah, because if you see anybody wearing it, it sticks out so far compared to their costume, and it's like, it looks cool, but like, they could have done a better job. So I think with the Hasbro one, it's going to be a lot better. But obviously, you're a seasoned cosplayer. You cosplay a lot, like Magna Defender. Like that one was really cool. Your unique ones, your Purple Rangers, those are cool. But what would be like advice you could give to cosplayers trying to get in? Like what would be like something you could say to like help them out? Some things you learned on the way.
In terms of sort of easy advice that I'd give is that don't doubt yourself as much. I absolutely am my own worst critic. I will make something, or I will, when I'm doing sort of photo shoots for the pages that I'm on, I will take sort of somewhere like to 30 to 40 photos just to get sort of 5 or 6 that I like. And I will critique myself to within an inch of my own life. So I'd say just try and critique yourself less. But in terms of the actual making of your ideas, always start out with jotting them down on paper first. Don't just jump straight in. There's been many times that I've taken like an SPD blaster or a helmet that I've tried to paint, and I've jumped straight in and just decided to paint it straight away without figuring out what lines I'm going to do or what sort of aesthetics I want to go for. And then I've had to spend hours and sometimes even days taking the paint back off and then completely starting again.
Oh, I feel that. So just don't jump in too fast. Make sure you have everything down before you do it.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
that's good advice because I feel like a lot of people do that when they come up with an idea, they just want to start.
Yeah.
Just want to jump in. But yeah, I mean that's great advice. But like getting back to you wanting to be a Power Ranger, there's a lot of amazing fan films out there.
Yeah.
And would you ever like make your own fan film and like create a new Ranger and just come up with a backstory for that?
I would absolutely love to. I don't think I'm creative enough to ever write one. I'm hugely dyslexic, so I couldn't sit down and write my own script or even sort of try and tie other people into it. I would fail at that. But I would absolutely never say no at being part of one.
Have you watched all the ones that are out, like Unworthy, Shattered Past, First Ninja?
I've been working my way through a few of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know Unworthy, they had like cameos from like different unique Rangers, and I feel like you could have been in that as like one of your Rangers.
Ah, God, I would have loved that. It would have been incredible.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been amazing to see on like a purple SPD Ranger in a fan film. It would have just like from Earth whatever. If you like, I guess they drew inspiration from like the Flash doing different Earths. I think it could work with Power Rangers.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like that would be cool. But like getting back to your Instagram, you just did a cosplay of Ashley from Power Rangers in Space,
Yeah.
and I know Tracy probably saw that and was like, "Oh, that's super cool," because Tracy's an amazing person. I got to meet her, but
I'd love to meet her.
oh, she's incredible. I'll tell you stories later, but she's cool. But like, what made you want to do like that suit instead of like the like morphed costume? Like what like did you just like the jumpsuit better?
Yeah, well, I've got a an SPD, not SPD. I've got an in space yellow actual suit. But it's so far from being completed. So I still need my gloves. I still need the helmet. I haven't got a blaster. So I'm so far from that actually being sort of an even like wearable cosplay. And I love when a season has like a uniform. So if the season has a uniform, it sort of instantly appeals to me. And the in space uniform is so just classic.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of the best ones. I actually bought a red one when I went to a convention, and I looked awful in it. I refuse to cosplay anymore. I don't have the body for it. Can't do it. Not for me. But it was fun to dress up like an in space ranger and have the suit, but
Yeah.
or the jumpsuit or what. I don't know the actual name for it. It's a jumpsuit, right?
I think so. I think it's a proper name for it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's been your like favorite like photo shoot you've done with a costume?
Oh, I probably have to say my new SPD. I've got the Decker Captain, so the Sky Tate red when he's sort of Commander of Earth suit when he takes over from Doggy. That's probably one of my favorites, just because it's such an out there suit, but it's got such a cool backstory to it in terms of sort of Sky himself finally stepping up and becoming sort of Commander of Earth. As well as just the suit itself looks amazing. I've got a few additions I need to add to it to make it my own, but that's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures on your Instagram of it, and it looks incredible. What was your first reaction when you saw the Deca Ranger costume on, like, what was it, like Twitter when they did the Christmas card, I guess it was?
Yeah, well, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was, I'm going to cosplay that. That's going to be one of mine. And then when I really hit my sort of my SPD obsession, if you will, I kind of needed it in my life more than I just wanted to cosplay it. It kind of became like a need of mine.
I understand that. Like, and hopefully they do more with it, because just that Christmas card, I was like, that's not enough. I need more of this Deca Ranger.
Absolutely. No, it's like, I love like the multi-tier of it as well. So we're so used to, with like Power Rangers costumes, especially, like just being a suit. But then like with this one having sort of the vest plate and then the actual sort of waist skirt as well, it's like such a multi-layer cosplay.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's difficult to make. It's not your traditional Power Ranger suit.
No, it's not just stick on a suit and you're in the costume. So you've got to like fight your way into the suit first, and then you've got to try and do up all of the vest and the skirt around you at the same time.
Yeah, in my opinion, it looks better than the Shadow Ranger did. Not that the Shadow Ranger looks bad. It's just this one, it pops more.
Yeah, I like the colors on this one more. I've got them both like next to each other in my cupboard, and the colors on the Deco Ranger one just I think they match better than the blues of the SPD Shadow.
I agree. But like with you cosplaying, obviously you've done a lot. But what is a cosplay you haven't done that like is like your number one? Like, all right, I got to do that one.
So I really want to do some more sort of really out there customs. So if I had sort of no money, so if budget wasn't an issue, I would love to do like a battleizer, like a really sort of really big over the top battleizer. So something like from Wild Force would be amazing, but I would change it up enough that I would purple it, obviously. But I would love to do something really sort of big and over the top. Yeah, a battleizer would probably be what I'd say.
I think the one you should go with is Time Force Red Battleizer. That thing was,
That'd be cool.
That thing was nice.
I could make that purple. I could probably.
I'd love to see it because I don't think I've ever seen anybody cosplay a Battleizer.
It's just I think for doing a battleizer, it would be more the time, the cost, and then figuring out how to make things like any electronics work and actually how to make it wearable. So as you could walk around a con and not one, kill yourself, and two, kill anyone else around you just by being in it.
Oh yeah, because cons before all this whole COVID-19 stuff, it was you're close together.
Yeah.
I've seen people's costumes get destroyed because they bumped into somebody, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen. So yeah, that would I feel like that would be the most difficult part is not running into people while wearing it.
Yeah.
But one final question for you: what is the most difficult part about cosplaying?
I'd say it's difficult. Most difficult would probably be the time that it takes to put into the cosplay itself. So with other hobbies, so say if you were drawing, or if you're into singing or acting or something like that, it's quite a quick and easy you're in and you're out hobby. But if you're looking to cosplay something like and make it yourself, it's hours and hours of work. So at the moment I'm working on painting in space silver helmet that I'm turning into SPD purple until I get another helmet, like a custom one made. And it's just finding the time to sit down and painstakingly paint it and map it out so as it's ready to be painted. And it's finding that time in your day to not just sort of get into the actual hobby. It's building up to do that hobby and then do it.
I feel that's probably the most difficult part I could imagine. I obviously, like I said, I don't cosplay, but it seems like that would be the most difficult thing. But I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It was incredible to talk to you. Where can these lovely viewers and listeners find you?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And they can find me personally as the Cosplays Empress on Instagram. So that's cosplays_Empress. And I'm also the team leader of Always a Ranger Cosplay. So we're also on Instagram as Always a Ranger Cosplay and Facebook as Always a Ranger HQ. So find us on there.
Okay, guys, remember, I will put the links down in the description. New episode of the Ranger Experience coming out Thursday. Guest will be announced later today. Again, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining me as well. And this was absolutely incredible. And, guys, remember, like I said, Thursday will be the next one. We'll see you then.